So here we are, going to go through and discuss the Eastwell Farms weaning process. We generally end up taking our weaners, which are 8 to 10 months old, off their mothers. The reason for this is to allow the mothers to get back in reasonable condition prior to having the next calf. And if everything's running really well, they'll have a calf every 12 months. So taking a calf off at 8 to 10 months takes the pressure off mum. Sometimes they're already, the mothers often do what they call self-weaning, so that might have already been kicked off. But otherwise we take them off ourselves as a yard process. So for the way we like to do it, in order to get them humanised, is to take 2 weeks feeding in the yard, in and around I might say. So we'll use hay for them, and also you might see here we do use a pasture pellet sometimes, not every time, but this is to allow a bit of protein to keep the weaners in pretty good nick, and trying to get their guts adjusted to not having mother's milk. So we effectively pull them off at, as I said, 8 to 10 months and bring them into the yard for 2 weeks at this point of in and around the yard. So you might be able to see little coolers just next to the yard. So we'll use that as well as in the yard. And then once we've done 2 weeks of in the yard and around, we'll then do, I generally try for another 2 weeks just in our Laneway system. And the reason for that is that I'm going to be driving through them every day that I go to move the main mob, and they just get used to being driven through, talked to, and not actually moved anywhere. So it's just a way of getting them calm to general activities. So yeah, so you might like to come and just see this little mob of weaners. What we're going to do is put them up through the yards, and this is something I do each time I put feed out for them. I take them up, let them run down through the race. They just get used to doing that. It's no pressure put on them, and they just come back down and onto the feed. So you might like to come and watch us do that. Just in readiness for taking the animals through the race so that they get used to doing this without any major pressure on them, I'll leave this gate shut. I've got everything else open for them to run through and back onto the feed that we've put out for them. So we'll set up this race, and I'll just open this gate so they've got a full race for them to come down into. We'll just leave the top gate to the race closed for now, because I like to bring them into the pen here, which we call a bud box. So it's a let in, let back system, and I like to be able to just mingle among them here a little bit, get them used to me here before I encourage them to come down in here. And boys, how are we doing? So we'll bring them all up. Come on, girls. Up you go. Walk up. Walk up. Walk up. Walk up. Close this gate. I'll probably only grab about half of them there if we can, rather than all of them. Don't want the pen to be too tight. The simple secret to a little bit of cattle handling is often pressure on, pressure off. So if you want an animal to move, you've got to put a little bit of pressure on. And if you wish to slow movement, then you've obviously got to take pressure off. And inside a pen here, I can influence them. If I walk in a little bit like this, I'll get movement away, bit of pressure, I'll walk away. So then if I go to the other corner, same sort of thing will happen. Pressure here. So we create movement by our pressure, not particularly harsh pressure, but I can take pressure on and off. So that animal there just moved 1 foot because I stepped in. He's looking to move again. I take it off, he stops. It's really subtle, sometimes really subtle energy that you can portray to an animal and get movement, hopefully in the right direction. Patience is always a great attribute to work with, particularly with young animals that haven't done a lot of work with humans. But we can soon get pretty calm animals by releasing the pressure. Not so much putting it on all the time, but releasing. So once I have them standing here and not feeling like they need to run around the pen, I feel that I can then go to the next stage. So as part of the weaning process, we like to have them go into our laneway system where we're going to be driving through them every day when we go out to move the main mob. So part of our development right back at the beginning here at Eastwell, I created these lanes that effectively almost start back at the house and go almost to the other end of the property. So when we do a weaning process, I can do the yard part for a couple of weeks, and then we put them into the lane system. And our road runs right through both sides of the yard system here. So once they're in the lanes, they're effectively on their own. They're then on grass, and all they're getting is a daily drive past, a bit of a chat from us, and they just get really comfortable with us being around. And major important part, I think, so that we can drive onto our animals and they just don't run off. They're pretty comfortable with us being around them. And from there they become a part of the main mob, or they go to our finishing property.